Hi everyone, it's Sayward. Welcome to my Zen room. This is where I make all the magic happen. Today I wanted to talk to you about smudging. Smudging is a really important thing that pretty much all metaphysical practitioners participate in. It's also, you'll see it's a common string amongst cultures. Cleansing of spaces, cleansing after births, a lot of relation to moon cycles. Well, this has nothing to do with moon cycles today. I just want to talk about the basics. So here I have a handcrafted lavender, rose, white sage smudge stick that I created myself, and my smudging fan. Now, these feathers I got at a craft store. Unfortunately, finding birds large enough to provide this kind of a thing really doesn't happen in any areas that I frequent, so it was much easier to source them from a Michael's. My feathers are joined, but they're not joined very well. As a matter of fact, they broke during the last cleansing I did, so I'm going to set them aside for all intents and purposes of this video, but I just wanted you guys to be able to see that it's just as simple as two feathers and a bit of hot glue in this case. Wax works really well in joining feather fans. It does have a tendency to break down, so it encourages you to have to replace it, and therefore you're more conscious of cleansing your cleansing tools, which is really important. I have a tendency to kind of forget about that, so it's helpful to me for things to break down once in a while. Again, this smudge stick I made myself. I grew the lavender out in my yard. My significant other tells me that I have a mad flower habit, so which I do. So the rose petals came from drying those, and the sage I actually, give you guys a pro tip, actually buy it in bulk and then dehydrate it myself. It turns out that it's much cheaper that way. Because the amount that you buy in stores is crazy. So I do supply that as well in my own store. For those of you that don't know, I do have my own business, Sayward. I do psychic readings, cleansings, house cleansings. I'm actually an ordained reverend at this point, so any sort of ministry that you need, I can provide that as well. I'll even come say something about your dog if that's what you need. Whatever helps get you through. My purpose is to help bridge gaps. So, this smudge stick I've used before, but I just split the end there. You want to kind of get all of it good and burning, so you may have to try this a couple times. You blow on the end. And once you can see that it's all good and hot, you're ready to go. So I begin at my feet, but on the way to my feet, I envision like anything that's outside of me, anything in my periphery is sliding down off of me and draining into the ground, okay? And then on the move back up, I imagine that clean energy, the warmth of the earth, the crisp of the air, they meet and they pull up through my body, through my chakras. You know, I'm really focusing on imagining and seeing those chakras beginning to open and fluoresce and align, okay? Because when we're in balance, when we're in a line, we have a lot better conduction and we're able to receive and give out through the universe. When we don't cleanse, our auras, they get full of this thick, fine grit that just kind of begins to amass and layer and layer and layer. And after years or months for some of us of that, especially caregivers, we're really people who pick up a lot of negativity, a lot of illness, a lot of sadness, a lot of, you know, pain and potentially negative effects and feelings. You know, we pick them up a lot faster than other people have a tendency to. So, you know, we get these layers and layers and layers, and what that does is it buffers us. We're not able to transmit one way or the other those energies in and out of our environment, in and out of our bodies, in and out of the universe throughout our planes. So when we cleanse the aura and when we really act to bring the aura back into alignment, to open it up, to wipe the smoke off the windows, if you were, we're able to clarify that vision and to amplify our own signals, and suddenly things are much easier for us. We have much stronger intuitions. We find that our lives are far more balanced when we perform cleansings routinely. You know, it's just like tuning up a car. You know, you have to get an oil change, and you know that if you go too long without an oil change, no, your car doesn't necessarily blow up and explode and you die or anything, but it starts to run a little more hard, and things are a little sluggish, and it didn't work the way that it used to. You know, other things may start breaking down as a result of that increased resistance. So think of aura cleansing as, I suppose, an oil change for your soul. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and start, and I really am cleansing myself, so I'm gonna be kind of quiet through the process, but you know, I've explained it pretty well. I think that you guys know exactly what's going on here. So as you do this, you're envisioning the energy is being pulled off of you. And if you prolong that feeling and you focus on it and you really intend for that, you begin to feel lighter. You begin to feel your chest open up. And we can move down to the solar plexus here. These are places where I particularly have blocks. I have issues with control, dominance, submission. I struggle with being told what to do. And so I often develop blocks here and in the heart area, heart and throat. Being a nurse, you tend to pick up a lot of painful emotions, painful traumas people have been through, painful traumas that people are going through, a lot of heightened anxieties and fears. And a lot of communication and trust issues, which hang out here in our throat chakra. When I get to the top, I like to envision myself creating like a golden shield of hair, I guess, around the aura. And then the top here, yep. I like to spend a lot of time here at the crown chakra. It's particularly relaxing, it's comforting, and it really helps for us to open up contact with that chakra. With it being at the very tops of our bodies, the tops of our heads, we have a tendency to kind of not be aware of how powerful its effects really are on us, because we focus more on the things that we're more connected to. Goosebumps. I like to come down the arms then when I finish sealing up, because these are obviously the final points that we're going to be able to transfer with our hands being occupied with the smudge stick. So if you're smudging someone else, I like to end with a crown chakra, but if I'm smudging myself, I end with my hands. I pay a lot of attention to my hands. Left is receiving, right is doling that out, okay? So I pay a lot of attention to my hands, and I really see and focus on my hands being something that I, portals to my body. Okay, so I really see myself not only cleansing, but also strengthening the receptivity of that entryway, and helping to remind myself, you know, that I do have the opportunity and the option to choose what I'm pulling in to the largest degree. So, you know, you really use smudge time as an opportunity to align with yourself and bring yourself those prompting and that information that you know is really important for you. We're so worried about what everybody else is doing so often, and so worried about taking care of others and what the future holds and planning for that and acting out, you know, to make that happen, that unfortunately we really don't oftentimes give ourselves the love of recognizing that sometimes we need cues too. So, you know, just use the time to really connect with yourself. You'll find that after a while, as you can develop a sense of serenity and to quiet your mind long enough, that you will really benefit from activities like this. It's a form of active meditation to a large degree. So when I get to my right hand here, this is my end cap, and I recognize that. I really focus on this being, you know, what I'm pushing out and directing. And I want my laser beam, if you will. I want that to be super, super strong and potent, concentrated, you know, a red hot fire, you know, just coming out into whatever creative process I do. I focus on that. And then I focus on protecting and forming a gate to that. Again, I have the opportunity to choose what I put my energies out into to a large degree. So just being mindful of that. And that, my friends, is smudging. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, blessed be.